are warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the thrift are warriors, can't rely on the bank, there's no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com with your morning horn of Z's, your chaga coffee. All right, first of all, happy Juneteenth to all my African-American friends and anybody who is just learning about this stuff. Juneteenth is probably the largest African-American holiday. It commemorates the effective end of slavery in the United States. You might be thinking, wait a minute, how come I've never heard it? Because you're white. I know I lean towards the people who are trying to subvert the cause of racial equality, the Antifa people and people who are just insane idiots going to destroy actually a beautiful awakening of the world, that discrimination is still with us, always has been with us, and always will be with us. So it's the people I really attack when I go after this is the Antifa side and the control of Black Lives Matter behind the scenes, which is the Democratic Party. But as far as black people, it is a wonderful day. And it's weird. I always thought Juneteenth, I'd heard about it living in Oakland. I thought it was like, hey, Lincoln freed the slaves, the Emancipation Proclamation. I even wrote a song about it. Not Juneteenth, but the Emancipation Proclamation was signed on January 1st, 1963. So all the work had been done before. And the lyrics go in 1862, or not 1863. In 1862, when Lincoln freed the blacks, he tied up an injustice and he locked it in his sack. And he locked it away in a White House vault where no one checks it. Is it nobody's fault that it's leaking all over? Just look at us today. There's only golfing country clubs where only white folks can play. And in college institutions where the young learn the facts, there's fraternities allowing only a few token blacks. Now, I wrote that in 1983. The black cause was different back then. And it had to do with country clubs that were still not, most country clubs in America were still not allowing black people in their midst. Now I think they're required to, but back then it was an issue. And then, the universities weren't as liberal as they are today, but you learn about justice and equality, but there was all white fraternities all over the place. So that was the cause back then. And it is a noble cause to fight for. So go on the History Channel or look it up on the internet, figure out what Juneteenth is. And it's actually an interesting thing because the Emancipation Proclamation signed January 1st, 1863 is not what Juneteenth is celebrating. It wasn't until 2.5 years later that they had to send troops into Texas to free the final slaves. So it took 2.5 years to free the slaves after the Emancipation Proclamation. So really interesting history. Check it out. And I support my black friends, my black brothers. I live in Oakland. I love the culture and the community and the people. They've been getting a bad rap lately because all these Black Lives Matter people who are not the people who use it as a slogan, but the people behind the scenes who are controlling the movement. And if you donate to Black Lives Matter, the majority of it goes to Democratic congresspeople, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They get that money. And over the last 70, 80 years that the Democrats have controlled the black vote by like 80% or something crazy, 88% I think it is. What have they done for the black community? Zero, nothing. As a matter of fact, it's in their best interest to keep the black community down. So, bravo, Juneteenth celebrators. It's a great day. It was the day that the United States finally ended slavery. Now, some may argue there's a different form of slavery now, but that's a different discussion. Happy Juneteenth. All right, moving on. Speaking of things being locked down and locked up and not allowed, in John Bolton's book, he talks about Trump wanting to go after Bitcoin. What kind of free market asshole does that? I am dead serious on this. I've been screaming it for so long that I agree with a lot of what Trump is trying to do. The manipulation of markets is beyond the pale when it comes to a free America. You cannot build a sound financial system on a rigged market, on a artificially suppressed market. That's 100% what Trump is doing. And that's my big beef with Trump and the good guys, is that they are trying to rebuild the economy on a false foundation. That will never work, my friend, Mr. Trump. I'm sorry, but that will never work. The good guys, you know it won't work. That's what the Fed wrote about in the comic book. Nobody knows how this is going to go, but they do know one thing. If you want a strong America, you build it on a strong foundation. Being a gold standard, a real one where it's redeemable, like the Fed was talking about in those comic books. Redeemable gold, where they can't print more money than the gold they have in the bank. So you can take your $10 bill, the new $10 bill that's gold, well, take the 100 that has gold all over it, go to your bank and cash it in for gold, real coins that they have to give you. So there's no rehypothecation. There's no fractional reserve. The bank can't lend out 10 to 1. And obviously, these banks won't be in business. They won't be able to lend these crazy, buy into the derivative market or give everybody money to buy a house. Houses are going to drop in value. I think when the banks shut down, I think they will shut down. They're going to use the post offices as like a national bank type of thing. I've been talking about that for a long time. Anyway, so yeah, in John Bolton's book, he's talking to Mnuchin, who's the number one market rigger from Goldman Sachs. Trump knows how important it is to control the alternatives to the dollar. That's what he's doing with Bitcoin to maintain the fraudulent financial system. But listen to this. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton revealed in his upcoming book that Donald Trump's order to crack down on Bitcoin. The Washington Examiner reports details of a conversation between Trump and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin described, quote, the room where it happened, which is the book. Trump allegedly told Mnuchin in May of 2018. Now, we know from what Chris Giancarlo said, it wasn't May of 2018. It actually started in 2017, in December. Now, just keep that in mind. Told Mnuchin in May of 2018 to stop being a trade negotiator and instead go after Bitcoin. They put in quotes for fraud. That's what John Bolton thinks that why Trump did it. No, Trump is going after the alternatives to the U.S. dollar. It's not because of fraud. It's the alternatives to the U.S. dollar. Yes, there's fraud in every monetary system. The number one place where fraud takes place right now, if you want to stop fraud, stop the U.S. dollar. That is the number one. Money laundering, child trafficking, drugs. That is the number one currency, and it really starts within the banking system. So you want to stop drugs and criminals doing their business? Go arrest J.P. Morgan. Go arrest Jamie Dimon and the whole board of directors and all the senior management. If you truly want to stop money laundering and you really want to stop fraud and drugs and all that, go to where it really happens. The boardrooms of J.P. Morgan, Citibank, HSBC, Deutsche Bank. But they don't really want to do that. They want their talking points. This was while the U.S. was preparing new trade sanctions against China, setting off a trade war. Apparently, the tense exchange with Mnuchin conceding, quote, if you don't want me on trade, fine, your economic team will execute whatever you want. There you go. So what do you want to do? He wants to take down Bitcoin. Now, how did they take down Bitcoin? They went to the trustee of the Mt. Gox bankruptcy and liquidated massive amounts of Bitcoin. I outlined this. This is why an artificial bear market started in cryptocurrencies at $20,000. This is why. 100% the reason. So now we know. But the world knows now. The whole world knows. What does that mean? When assets are artificially suppressed and you have a lot of enemies out there like Trump does, I would expect every single Trump hater to go out and buy Bitcoin. Trump has told the world what his Achilles heel is. And the other Achilles heel The biggest of all is silver. Not gold, because the U.S. has massive amounts of gold, but silver. Silver has been suppressed for 150 years. That's about to end. I hope and pray. If you're on the road to Ruta, you know how important silver is. And we've been hodling silver for so long because we're waiting for that moment. I wish today I had never even heard of silver to this very day, and I automatically understood what was going on. I would take everything I had, sell the farm, and buy physical silver in my own possession. Because I wouldn't have had to gone through 20 years of fighting this shit. 20 years of fighting it. Ted Butler's been fighting this fight for 35 years. And he's proven manipulation through the CFT or the CME's own data. The comics own their own data. And there's been so many whistleblowers and people within the system. Bart Chilton admitted they knew about the market manipulation of gold and silver especially. But he said they could not prosecute. Why? It was a political decision. Tells you how important alternatives to the US dollar are. Anyway, silver got a little bump today. We're going to have $5 days very soon, I think this year, where silver moves up $5 in a day and then it's shut down trading. And then again, $5. The COMEX is a criminal organization run and controlled by ICE, the Intercontinental Exchange, which was created and controlled by the oil cartels. And then it branched out to own the NASDAQ and the Dow, the stock market, the commodity markets. They own pretty much every exchange and are knee deep in bed with the DTCC so that they get. DTCC is supposed to settle all trades. They don't. That's where the fraud happened. Anyway, there you go. That's the exciting news is Trump is busted for rigging the Bitcoin market. And you need to get to the nitty-gritty of how they did it. They used the Bitcoin from Mt. Gox. All the other cryptos will chase out. Imagine all these great companies that came out in ICO, wonderful companies, even though the crazy SEC was on the side of Trump, obviously, was throwing out crazy rules and being absolutely racist when they went after Reggie Middleton for trying to create a system, a fair and honest system of trading on exchanges, peer-to-peer transaction on exchanges. It was purely read the charging documents. You're going to say, "Oh my God, who are these people at the SEC?" So I have hope that Veritasium will be implemented into all these exchanges to assure free trading and no more rehypothecation of assets. And in the perfect world, that's what happens. That's how you fix the problem without destroying everything. Or you can take the other route, wipe everything out and destroy everything. It's up to you, world. What do you want to do? Yesterday, I talked about and posted a video. Gavin Newsom is requiring everybody in California to wear masks all of a sudden. Why? Because Gavin Newsom bought $1 billion worth of masks 2 months ago from China, from a Chinese car manufacturer. I want to know where that money really ended up, Mr. Newsom. How many Democratic donations sprung up out of that? Check the Chinese auto manufacturing's donations to whose campaign did they donate to, and follow the money in California. But it's insane what especially my county, Alameda County. Alameda County includes Oakland and Berkeley and San Leandro, Hayward, Fremont, and down all the way down the East Bay. They are probably, besides San Francisco, is probably the most militant county in all of California. And here's the latest press releases: we can eat outside as long as we're spaced far apart. But how many restaurants have outside seating that you can, most of them would have to put tables in the street and they can only have 2 tables. It's ridiculous. But it's okay to go out and protest and spread this virus because we're going to need a round 2 and we have to show the numbers. Well, here's the announcement just yesterday. And I'm reading it, I'm going, this is nothing's different. This is insane what's happening. You know why? And I'll give you this number right here. Oh, that's the 17-page document they released. Updated orders on your lockdown. You're still required. You can only go outside if there's an issue or emergency. It's so insane. But I want to show you something. So here's the number of deaths in Alameda County. This is why our health inspector is so militant. There's been 116 deaths in Alameda County from COVID. Now that is people who died who had COVID. It didn't mean COVID killed them. That's how they report the numbers. People who died who had COVID. You have COVID, you die from a car crash, you died of COVID. I know, it's insane. But 116 deaths. Obviously, 116 people is a lot of people. But let's get some perspective here. Alameda County has 1,666,753 people. 1.66 million people. And 116 deaths. Are you serious? Are you shutting down the entire economic system of the East Bay, of the San Francisco Bay Area for a 0.0000696% chance of dying from COVID so far? The death rate in Alameda County is 0.0000696% of the people in Alameda County have died from COVID. I don't know anyone who knows anyone who's died from COVID. And yet our militant, massively leftist health inspector has shut down all businesses, has shut down the economic engine of the entire county, and massively destroyed everybody's lives. Everybody's lives is different because 0.0000696% of the population died from COVID. And now they want to keep this thing going. It's bullshit. Run the numbers for your area. How many people do you know who actually died from COVID? From COVID. Not had COVID and then died, but died because they contracted COVID. The numbers are tiny. This is all a game. This is all a political game and an insane game. If you want, all you lefties are saying, oh, watch this. We have to close everything because of the doctors and the scientists say you can't do it. You can't open up because you're going to get it. Everybody, I was listening to Jenny Moonstone and JC the other night, and she was talking about the probability of getting it, and said she didn't go into it, but she said something to the effect of, you're more likely to get a STD from entering a bar than you are to get COVID. It's true. That is a fact. I love that. That cracked me up. She didn't fully expound on that theory, but go check out that video. I'm talking to JC next week, and I'm sure we'll get into that. All right. So that's where we are. The Alameda County is demanding lockdown. Oh, my God. Gavin Newsom is demanding you wear a face mask, which really restricts the oxygen flow into your body. They still have lockdown orders, which 85% of the cases were, they got COVID from being in lockdown, from being indoors. Because obviously when you're in lockdown with your whole family, one person gets it, everybody's going to get it. And you get no vitamin D by being in lockdown. This is insane. We need to stop it. This is a life or death situation. Not to mention the destruction of your family, your neighbor's businesses, your community. Juneteenth. Hey, everybody in Oakland, let's stand up and say, hey, let's try to rebuild our city and not destroy it with these insane rules. How many people in Oakland have lost their businesses? A lot. Let me just tell you, I think probably half of them will open up again. Only half. And Oakland gets all their money practically from two places: property taxes from the nicer houses in the hills, and the biggest one is the port. Well, we're not going to be trading anymore, so at least with China. How's the Port of Oakland going to support Oakland's leftist liberal? They aren't. That's part of the plan. Destroy the economic system. by these insane, lefty, crazy people. All right. There's a population of Oakland, 1.666 million. And statewide in California, it's not much different. It is in California, California's in dire distress. We have 5,290 deaths of people who had COVID. I'm stopping saying died from COVID, because they die 99% of the time from other complications of COVID. Who knows how many, if they get hit by a car though, they're counted in the stats of having COVID and have died. 5,290, right? California, let's do the math. That's your chances of dying from COVID, 0.000142% chance of dying from COVID. Just take the amount of deaths divided by the total population of California. You get 0.000142% chance of dying from COVID. So what do, Mr. Politician? You shut down the whole economy. You shut down the system. You destroy lives. You destroy businesses. Do not fall for lockdown number 2, because they're coming for you. They've already started talking about it. Remember, it was a week and a half ago that all these protests were going crazy, right? And they said, oh yeah, go outside and protest. It's more important than grandma dying. What? Anyway, you're on the road to Ruta. I'm trying to expose all the craziness out there. I'm going to do a live chat at 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's 2 p.m. East Coast time. We're going to do a live chat. We're going to talk about everything, a lot of Q&A. So come with your questions. 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. East Coast time. It's Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. I'm out of here.